You're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. Here's your host, Jack Myers and Gerald Hoover.
And greetings, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Gerald. He's the great Jack Myers. I'm Gerald Hoover, and we're happy that you're joining us here today as we catch you up on the world of sports here at Shalom Christian Academy. But first of all, how you doing, Jack?
I'm doing good.
Good. And it's kind of a sad day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Basketball for at least the middle school is over, which
it's
hard to believe it's already here. But time goes fast, and just the way it is. When you get to mid-February, pretty much all comes to an end rather quickly.
Yeah, which is fine because we got next year to look forward to.
That's right. There's always next year, so that'll be exciting. So we're happy that you're joining us here today on the Shalom Sports Podcast, and we're going to get you caught up here in what's happening in the sports world, starting with wrestling. And so the only thing I could find out about wrestling, Jack, was I know our freshman Olivia Kearns here, who is wrestling in our co-op with Shippensburg High School, is qualified for districts in the 110-pound weight class. And so we wish her the best of luck as she goes into the postseason, which I think may be starting even as early as this weekend. So best of luck, Olivia. And, we hope you do well in districts and continue on as far as you can go, maybe even to states. So best of luck there. So now we'll turn our attention to basketball. And as we talked about, wrapping up here for the middle school season for the teams here at Shalom, with our middle school girls taking home the MDCC championship over this weekend. And so congratulations to them. Actually finished the season, Jack, on a 10-game winning streak, so that's pretty exciting for them. They had a solid year. And since our last podcast, Jack, tell the audience what happened in those games.
So Thursday, the 13th, they beat Southern Huntington 28-20 in the semifinal versus Faith Christian. On Friday, they won 37-17. And on Monday in the championship game versus CVCS, they won 39-16.
Yeah, so our ladies finishing strong there. That Southern Huntington game last Thursday, I know that was a rematch from their first game of the season where they ended up losing up at Southern Huntington. So they were able to avenge that earlier loss to Southern Huntington and able to take home the W there last Thursday, and then going 2-0 in the MDCC playoffs in the semifinal and the championship game, which actually got a little bit extended for the girls due to some weather issues on Saturday, actually.
I know, it was really, we were slippy on our road. We were
it was kind of crazy where down at down at Grace Academy in Hagerstown on Saturday, it was a little dicey there as the snow started about 9 in the morning and really came fast and furious.
So you know that turn that you make from if you're on the highway, did you go on the highway?
No, I went down the back way. I didn't want to go the highway.
Okay, so we went on the highway. And when you stop and you make that turn to the right, my mom went to stop, and she just went through the stop.
Oh, no.
So we had to go up and turn around.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Everybody was okay, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know it was a little dicey trying to get down to Grace Academy there on Saturday. But thankfully, I think by the time your game was over, it kind of turned over to rain, so the roads were much better on the trip
when we were going back, it was like, it's a lot better.
But so the girls ended up having to wait. They were scheduled to play Saturday afternoon, ended up having to wait until Monday for that championship game, and were able to take home their 6th straight MDCC championship, Jack. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I would call that a dynasty. Would you call that a dynasty? I don't know what the definition of a dynasty is, but
pretty much.
Yeah. So they're doing well, and we're just fortunate. I mean, our girls work hard. We have good coaches and good athletes, and so the league, I think, has felt like is definitely getting much better, and so I feel like each year it's a little harder for us, but still able to take home the championship. And it's just crazy how we've had 6 in a row, but that's just the way it goes, and you just know, it's not always going to be that way. It's it's just that we're in a really good stretch right now, and that ebbs and flows throughout smaller schools, and so we're just fortunate that we've been able to just continue this winning streak, and hopefully we can continue that into the future too. But you always got to work hard. It's never given. It's always earned.
Yeah.
So
that's a good line.
Yeah. So for the middle school girls, their season's over, and they'll be turning their attention to spring soccer here coming up soon, which is hard to imagine. We've seen it was like single digits this morning that we're even talking about spring sports, but that's just a part of spring sports. It's always tough.
Yeah, when starting season tryouts and stuff, I couldn't imagine playing.
You're smart by playing an indoor sport,
Yeah,
because
indoor.
it doesn't matter what it is outside. Could be
Yeah.
hot, could be cold. It's indoors, so doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, windy. You're
Yeah.
inside, so it's always good.
And then you play outdoors when it gets warmer.
That's right. Yeah, in the summer, which is always can be really hot then sometimes too. But I'd rather play when it's too hot than too cold. I don't like being cold. So that wraps up the middle school girls basketball season. So we will now talk about the middle school boys. You guys finished 15-9 on the season. You end up finishing third place in the regular season MDCC standings, and you guys played 3 games in the postseason play for the MDCC middle school boys. And what happened in those games, Jack?
So we beat New Life on Thursday, 39-18. We lost versus Faith Academy on Friday, 29-36. Then we lost in the consolation to Broadfording, 35-44.
Yeah, so some tough games down there at Grace
Yeah.
Academy on Friday and Saturday. I know I got to see most of both of those games, and what impressed me at Faith, they really shoot the 3 well, which is I was surprised for a middle school team how well they shot the 3.
The first 2 times they played them, they weren't hitting threes, so
they caught fire.
they caught fire and
Yeah,
took the light out of our team.
yeah, that's always tough because when you start hitting those threes, man, they just I don't know. It's only one more point than a regular 2-pointer, but
Seems like it.
It seems like it's more than that sometimes. And at the middle school level, I mean, you see threes once in a while. You don't usually. That's not usually what's carrying a team at that level. But they shot it well, and unfortunately, you guys fell. And then the Broadfording game, that was just kind of consolation games are always tough.
Yeah.
You're playing hard for third place, but I was proud of the way you guys played. I mean, you guys got down at least double digits there at one point, and I know you were starting to make a comeback, and I think got it as low as 6, I think. I don't know if you got it under 6 or not, but I know there was a time there where you got it to 6 points and actually got a turnover, which they actually took off the board because they said the Broadfording coach called it.
And then we had
timeout.
like 4 turnovers in a row. Then that killed us.
Yeah, but that happens.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed watching you guys play. You guys have a lot of talent on your team, and you just always, I felt like, good attitudes, and I think you guys represented Shalom very well this year. So hats off to you guys and your coach, Murray Roseman. But you guys wrapping up another season in the MDCC.
I'll say something. Even though this wasn't the most successful team I've been on, it was the most fun I've had playing in middle school.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I could see that and feel that when you guys were out on the court. You guys, and I know even Coach Roseman has even talked to me about how this team really has bonded. You guys have a lot of fun together, and winning's great too. It's always fun. I mean, it's hard to take away winning championships, but you don't want to have an experience on your team where it's just not enjoyable.
Yeah.
And you tell you guys had a lot
Another
of fun.
thing,
That makes it successful.
If you're losing and you guys don't get together, that's like too bad.
Ooh, that's a double whammy,
but
isn't it?
if you're winning and you don't get together so much, it's fine. But it definitely makes up for losing if you have a really fun team.
Yep. And then heard you guys had a team party on Sunday where you guys played your parents.
Yeah.
So how did that go?
We lost.
You lost to your parents.
Well, my parents weren't there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you saying that would have been that you would have won if your parents were there?
Maybe.
So did Coach Roseman play?
He played a little bit.
Did he play for the parents?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't like to lose. So that's always fun. I remember when my wife, Mrs. Hoover, she coached the middle school girls, and I remember her team year-end team parties, the parents and play the kids, and it was always such a fun time. And you just prayed nobody got hurt because those parents are out there thinking, "Oh boy, it's a little crazy." But so you guys, your season's over, and guys, ended up in 4th place. But overall, I felt like you guys did well. I think the biggest thing I noticed was you guys were a little bit smaller than most of the teams you played, and so that's always tough when you're on the basketball court. But felt like you guys did really well, and can't wait to see what happens next year. Although you wrapped up your middle school career.
Yeah.
So now on to varsity, so that'll be pretty exciting.
Hopefully we can still do some sort of live stream next year.
Yeah, I hope so, definitely.
Yeah, if it's the middle school or.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yep, you're welcome anytime. However it works out, we love. Yeah, we gotta figure it out because I felt like we only do 3 games this year. It seemed like it wasn't that many.
I don't think it was over 10, but I think it was over 5. So in that area, 5 to 10.
Yeah, but we'll have to improve on that next year. So You're listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast with Jack and Juro, and we're here giving you a wrap-up of what's happening in the world of Shalom Sports, and just finished up middle school. Now we're going to turn our attention to the varsity basketball programs, beginning with the varsity girls basketball team. 16-6, currently second place in the PIAA power rankings, and that those have been officially locked in. 4 teams qualify for districts, so our girls, will be hosting a game here this Friday against Lancaster Country Day, I believe it is, at 7 o'clock. So they had one game since our last podcast, Jack. What happened in that game?
They lost to Mountain Ridge 43-55.
Yeah, so our girls limping into the postseason a little bit, having lost their last 4 games after I think had won like 12 in a row. But definitely have played much stiffer competition the last 4 games. And, you know, sometimes it's not always about the wins and losses, but I think that those games are going to kind of make them prepared for the playoffs, postseason play.
Yeah, you can definitely learn a lot more from losing than you do winning.
You definitely can. And I know particularly I think what we noticed, or at least what I noticed, being that we had qualified for some of our fall sports teams back in the fall, like it doesn't matter how you played against a team during the regular season, the postseason, like the playoffs, you definitely got to step up.
That happened with the varsity
game.
boys, I think.
Yeah, you got to step up your game a little bit more. And our varsity boys who had beaten the team twice during the regular season ended up facing them in the first round of district playoffs and lost. So I think, you know, just that experience from that game, knowing that no matter what happens, you really got to bring your A game into the postseason, because you're going to be facing good teams all the time, and you just got to really bring the intensity. You can't just assume that you're going to get a win.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough when you have your easier part in the first part, and then you play your harder in the second, because you feel like, man, we're really good. And then when you face that tougher competition, you know, it can destroy, like, are we really good enough? Are we not?
Yeah.
So you can, like, start to question
how
good
I don't think that's
team
where
is.
the girls are at.
Yeah.
I mean, they know where they're at. They're an experienced team, and it's just, it's always hard when we kind of into that losing, but it can fuel you as you go into that next game. Like, we're tired of losing, and we don't want to lose anymore.
Having a home court advantage will definitely help.
That'll definitely help. So that'll be a pretty exciting event out here this Friday, February 21st at 7 o'clock. So if you want to come out, just remember that you have to get your tickets online before you come. You can't buy your ticket at the door. You have to get your tickets online, because it's all controlled by the PIAA District 3. So just note that. You can find any information out on our website and how to get those tickets. So hopefully things will go our way on Friday, Jack, for the varsity girls. And if they happen to win that game, it's going to be a big step for them, because winning actually helps. It actually, for 2 reasons, if they win. One, it puts them in the championship game for AA girls District 3 basketball, which will be held at the Giant Center next Wednesday. So that'd be pretty exciting. That'll be the first for Shalom. But also winning puts them in the top 2 in districts, which automatically qualifies them for states. So hopefully they can come out and play well on Friday. Like I said, a win there would go a long way to what they're, what's going to happen after that, as far as district championship game, and then playing in the first round of states as well. So if you can't make it out, we're going to have it on YouTube on our live stream, so you can catch myself and Wayne Myers on the call. We're actually going to do a pregame show, Jack, so that's kind of pretty cool. So come tune in at 6:45, games at 7. We'll do a little 15-minute pregame show, talk a little bit about the season, and throw out some stats, and maybe even talk about the other team that we're playing, Lancaster Country Day, a little bit as well. So trying to get a coach's interview, but they're not really excited about joining us. So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Okay.
Well, we'll keep working.
Yeah.
We'll keep working. So now for our varsity boys, Jack, they are 14-8 on the season. They secured and locked up the 5th place seed in the District 3 power rankings for Single A. The top 10 teams qualify for districts, led by head coach Stanley Shank in his 15th season. So their next game coming up, Jack, tell the audience the details about that.
So this Friday, they're playing at the 4 seed Ephrata Mennonite.
Yeah, I believe that game's at 7 o'clock as well down in Ephrata. So if you plan on attending that game, kind of the same thing as our game here. To get a ticket, you can't buy it at the door. You have to buy it online through the District 3 website, and that'll get you the ticket if you wish to go to that game. I know we are planning on live streaming that game as well. Mr. Ubers will be on the call, so that'll be pretty exciting. And for our varsity boys, if they lose, then their season's over. If they win, they will play in the next round, which I think will be a quarterfinal, or will
This
it be
is
the
says this is quarterfinal, so this is
the
they play in the
semifinal.
semifinal.
They'll play in the
Which,
semifinal.
if they played a lower seed than them, like so, if they played like a 6 or 7 seed, so say they upset the 1 seed or whatever, then you play at home. That would be
pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That would be pretty awesome.
yeah.
So, so I think we play we're the 5th seed. We play the 4th seed. If we would happen to win against the 5th seed, then we would probably play the winner of the 1 and the 8th seed probably. So potentially could be the number 1 seed if that's how the seeding works out. I guess if the 1 seed would get upset this week,
we'd have a home
we
game.
could potentially have a home game as
If
well.
we win this one and then
and that other seed lost. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. But
would be interesting.
I'm sure it's happened before, but it's happened in the NCAA tournament twice, right? 16 has beat a 1.
So they beat Virginia, UMBC beat Virginia. Then who was the other one? They beat Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue.
The Boilermakers.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're the 2 1 seeds to lose in the first round to
remember.
a 16 seed. Yeah.
We were on vacation. Well, we were in the Smoky Mountains. We were watching the game, and my brother picked Purdue to win the whole thing.
Oh no!
And he started crying.
Oh, it really brought him to tears, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't the only one crying after that loss.
I mean, I picked Purdue to win too, but I wasn't getting emotional.
You can handle it. You can handle a
Yeah.
little bit more, but
Yeah.
those are shockers.
Yeah.
That can shock your system. So, so hopefully you can make it out to cheer on the Flames this Friday night. It's going to be pretty exciting. Unfortunately, the 2 teams, the boys and girls, are going to be at different locations at the same time, so you can't be in live at both locations. But hopefully, can make it out to one and watch the other one on the live stream or something like that. So we're going to get you the information, and we'll get you the games as best as we can. So that kind of wraps up the show this week, Jack. We didn't really have a whole lot to talk about as basketball and the winter season's winding down here at Shalom. Just not quite as many games to talk about, but like I said, we have spring sports coming up, and a little different this year for even our spring sports programs with our PIAA affiliation, our varsity girls soccer, who typically has played in the spring in the MDCC league, actually played this past fall. So their season for the school year is already over. So there's really only 2 teams playing this spring, Jack, which will be kind of a little different pace for us.
Yeah.
And that would be the varsity boys baseball team and our middle school girls soccer team. So that's what's going to be coming up here in the next couple months here at Shalom as far as athletics. And so we're looking forward to warmer weather outside. Nothing really beats those first couple warm days of spring. And if you have a home game on those nights, watching some baseball or some soccer, it's pretty awesome. So as we are stuck in these single-digit temperatures and windy days, you just got to look forward to those warmer days and summer breezes and things like that.
Yeah. The worst thing is when your mom tells you go get the trash cans at the end of the road and the driveway.
Man. That's rough, huh?
Man, it's windy, but you don't really want to put a sweatshirt because you want to do it fast. Because I just kind of run out there and go as fast as I can.
Man up, get it in.
Yeah.
Get taken care of, yeah.
Yeah.
Then does the wind ever blow the lid open and whack you in the head or
and
anything like that?
Well, sometimes it blows and all the trash falls out, and
that's not
that's
good.
The worst.
Yeah, and if it's windy, then you got to chase the trash down the road.
And it's cold, so
you're just like, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wind, I don't like wind. I can handle most weather. I just don't like wind for some reason. But so college basketball. So Iowa State moved up 2 spaces in the rankings.
And I think number 7 just lost. Texas A&M lost last night.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and Iowa State won last night versus Colorado, which they've played Colorado 3 times this year. They played them in a tournament earlier in the season, and then they played them twice. So that's 3 times.
Yeah, that typically doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But I guess because of the tournament, just the way the brackets went and everything, they got to play them 3 times.
But they won all 3 of them.
Wow. They say it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but Iowa State, they came through.
Mm-hmm.
They said it don't matter what people say.
Yeah.
We can beat a team 3 times.
How's North Carolina doing?
We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little rough, but trying to think. What was their last game? I think they won their last game. Who did they play?
Syracuse?
Yeah, that's right. They beat Syracuse and tried to lose it at the end. Missed some free throws again, especially those 1-and-1s. Man.
How's R.J. Davis doing?
He's not having a great year. He had a much better year last year. I think he misses his buddy Baycott, the big guy down underneath.
Oh, yeah. You think he should have went to the draft last year? Or
it It's hard to say because of his size. I'm not sure his draft stock was very high. And so I think that was another reason why he came back.
This could have taken it down a little bit.
It could have, yeah. So it'll be interesting.
They got that Ian Jackson guy. He's good.
He had been struggling the past couple of weeks, but he went
Yeah.
off against Syracuse, man.
Yeah.
I think he had 20-some points. Yeah, when he's on, he is
He's
fun
a
to watch.
freshman, right?
He's a freshman, yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Drake Powell. Drake Powell's a good player, too.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's like a power forward. He might
Uh-huh.
be like 6'8", but he can jump out of the gym. Can stroke the three pretty good, too.
Yeah.
So they have some key pieces. I just think they're just not – the chemistry on the team I don't think is real great right now. So anyhow, we'll see. It's not too late, but it's almost getting too late for them to make a run to qualify.
Joe Lenardi, they were one of the teams out, I think.
Yeah, they're like the first 4 out, or they might even be the next 4 out because their struggling aren't very high. I mean, they'd have to really go on a run here.
Did they play Duke again?
They'll play Duke their last regular season game, like the first.
If
Saturday
they won
in
that,
March.
maybe they get in.
Well, they'd have to win. They'd almost have to win out, plus beat Duke. Or if that wouldn't happen, then Duke, kind of like what NC State did in the ACC tournament last year, go on a run and win the tournament. Because if you win your conference tournament, it's an automatic bid.
The ACC's in Charlotte this year.
Is that where they're at?
So it's not at.
It was in Washington last year, I think.
It was in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, the A10 is in Washington.
Oh, is
My
it?
dad was looking at last night. You can get like row C every single game for $364.
Oh, yeah?
Every single game.
So he got 4 or 5 tickets?
No.
No.
We never did that.
So who's in the A10? I'm not even sure.
Like
conferences.
Davidson, Richmond, Duquesne.
Okay. The more the smaller schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think of some more.
I was watching.
Loyola Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They went on a run a couple years ago in the tournament. That was pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching UConn and Villanova last night.
I watched that game too.
That was an exciting game. UConn was way down, and they came storming back. That place was going crazy.
Yeah.
I think they end like on a 20-6 run or something. It was something.
They were
insane.
down double digits, and came back with like 12 minutes to go.
And that's what I love about college basketball. Like, I don't really care who's playing. Like, if the home team crowd is into a game like that, I can watch anything. It gives me goosebumps. It's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I was sort of half paying attention because I was kind of doing the script for today's podcast.
Uh-huh.
So I was half paying attention. I wasn't really paying attention. And all of a sudden I looked up and was like, this crowd's really into it. What's happening? And I saw that UConn was coming back. But they're not even ranked anymore, which is crazy. They're the back-to-back NCAA championships, and they fell out of the top
they have
25.
less than 1% chance to win the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. They'll make the tournament, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But the other thing I thought was, and I'm kind of glad because it happened in North Carolina the other year, preseason number 1, not ranked anymore. I think Kansas is that. They were the preseason number 1, and I don't think they're ranked anymore.
They're ranked number 23, but they lost by 34.
34
to BYU last night. I was watching SportsCenter this morning, and it said that was Bill Self's largest loss and worst loss to any team.
34 points. That's a
the last time they lost by 34 was like in 2021, but they lost to like a ranked team.
Okay.
But they lost to an unranked team.
That's crazy. But yeah, so
Kansas
they get to join North Carolina as that preseason number 1 that. Well, after this week's poll, they'll be out of the top 25. But they didn't fall quite as fast as the Tar Heels did the other year. That was a crazy year, too. But
I
remember. Begin to wonder. Sometimes I second guess why I'm even a Tar Heel fan. But
I remember North Carolina, their first loss that season was to Iowa State.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
I remember watching it because we were up in our cabin getting ready to hunt.
Uh-huh.
And I remember watching that game.
And
You're
pretty proud.
Yeah, I was pretty proud.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. I mean, Tar Heels, they're typically pretty good.
Yeah.
Struggling this year, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add?
No.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining us this week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our episode as we got you up to date on what's happening in the sports world here at Shalom Christian Academy. And exciting games coming up this Friday, historic games as our basketball teams playing in their first ever PIAA District 3 playoff game. So that's going to be fun. And hopefully, Jack, next week we can be back on the podcast talking about how we won those games and how we're continuing on.
And then later tonight, the girls are going to be playing.
That's true.
Yeah.
A week from today, potentially, if we do well Friday night, could be in the Giant Center. So
which is awesome.
That's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully that's what we can report next week.
Yeah.
Well, yep. So it all comes down to our fans. They got to cheer real loud. They got to cheer as hard as the girls play.
Every single Shalom fan needs to be in the Giant Center.
That's right. Oh, yeah. We're going to sell that place out.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'm not sure how many seats they have. Probably over 10,000.
Yeah, I would say roughly
Yeah.
pretty close to that. So
Yeah.
that'd be pretty exciting. So again, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to catch you back on the podcast next week. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Shalom Sports Podcast. If you enjoyed today's content, please hit the subscribe button. That will notify you of future content.